I'm a biracial person who chooses to identify with both my races.
I'm a biracial person who was always told because my mother is white, I will not be raised right.
With this project, we are going to discuss how biracial students identify themselves.
To be honest, I don't even usually say biracial, I say mixed because both my parents are Latino and a lot of people think that Latino is a race even though it isn't.
Hola, hello, konnichiwa. My name is Miyoshoti Yamaguchi and I'm from Florida. My dad was born in Cuba but had to flee, and my mom is a Floridian as it should be. My dad's dad is Japanese and his mom is as Cuban as can be. And my mom's parents came from Cuba with me. I'm 1/2 Cuban, 1/4 Japanese, and 1/4 American, you see. I feel closest to my Cuban roots, but being American also suits. I definitely can't leave my Japanese side behind since everyone has been so kind. So there's only one way to say this with ease: I'm Cuban Americanese. This is a poem I wrote in 2009. My teacher gave us the opportunity to challenge our critical consciousness by expressing how we choose to identify ourselves based on our culture.
My teacher addressed critical race theory by allowing us to have our own voice in how we identify ourselves.
In the stats that you are viewing, it was not until 2008 that biracial students were recognized in education.
Now in 2015, you see Miss Universe Japan, who was biracial. She competed in honor of her friend who committed suicide due to the struggle of growing up biracial in Japan.
I am a biracial person who took 26 of her 29 years of life to learn to love both sides of who she is.
The young lady in the video you just watched has struggled with identity theory. She clearly felt her whole life one side of her ethnicity was superior to the other. This is an example of how a biracial student could be influenced by the way you teach them. I remember being in 3rd grade and one of my teachers telling me that I had to circle black on my EOGs because my father was black.
Teachers need to be more culturally relevant for their biracial students so they can develop a positive identity of themselves at an early age rather than waiting to be an adult to appreciate who they are.
These stats show how race is broke down in North Carolina.
I'm a biracial person who had to grow up in a sort of a tug of war, and all my life I had to defend my identity in a world that's so obsessed with binary.
Here are some stats from Guilford County Schools. Because race is separated in many categories, educators should allow their students to reflect on their personal experiences. According to Nieto and Bold, who wrote Affirming Diversity, being biracial or bilingual can be beneficial to student success.
It's not that big of a deal.
All this coming from a mixed woman who technically isn't even really black?
If I'm not really black, then could somebody please tell my hair and my ass?
In order to foster a positive identity, teachers should address the 3 tenets of CRP, which are student success,
Cultural competence, and critical consciousness. Unfortunately, there is a lack of positive views of biracial students in pop culture.
Ultimately, we want students to feel confident about themselves as the following goes up.
As a multiracial person, I want people to realize that I'm proud of the different heritage and cultures that make up who I am.
In order to foster a positive identity, teachers should address the 3 tenets of CRP, which are student success,
Cultural competence.
And critical consciousness. Unfortunately, because I cannot say unfortunately.
Teachers need to be more culturally relevant in order to help their biracial students develop a positive. I can't do it.
Put your arm
Oh, I'm putting mine down then. This was stupid.
In order to foster a positive identity, teachers should address the 3 tenets of CRP, which are student success,
Cultural competence.
And critical consciousness. Unfortunately, there is not a lack of.
In order to foster a positive identity, teachers should address the 3-10-10.
Justin, can I? Teachers need to be more culturally relevant for their biracial students so they can develop a positive identity at an early age.